Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today we're going to be doing a very rough and dirty review of the Annie's kit, the Hook and Needle Club / I Love to Knit. I'm going to be honest, this is not my normal format for doing these. Normally, we do 1 month, I'd unbox it, give the price breakdown of what's in the box. Then month 2, I would have worked a project with what I got. Sorry, my cat is in here. Month 2, I would have worked a project through month 1 if it's the project it came with, or I would have created a project. Then we would unbox month 2. I would go do the price breakdown of that. Then month 3, we'd unbox that with the breakdown of what I ended up doing with box 2. And then I'd come back and do a final review with all 3 boxes together, where we do a price breakdown, where we see, what would estimated retail value be versus what we actually paid for the box. What was my experience like? What was cancellation like in some cases? And we normally have like this deeper conversation. This experience has not been good on any front though, and I'm going to be very transparent about this. One of the reasons why I do a math breakdown on a lot of these boxes is because sometimes we get in our fifis about things, and that's okay. Like, your personal experience is a valid part of a review, but if everything in the math says it's great, but your experience is bad, that's different than something not having value. And sometimes you have a wonderful experience, but the value's not great. We've seen that with some of these subscription boxes. If you've never seen any of my videos, I now have like 4 years of doing 3-month group reviews like this. And we've had bad reviews in the past. We've had bad experiences. Same thing with yarn reviews. Not everything I've reviewed has been great. And I've gotten some amazing feedback on some of my older videos recently on yarn reviews, as people are using what they maybe got on clearance and things like that. And they disagreed with my reviews on some things and have come back and said, oh, wait a minute. Now I see what you mean. I do try, though, to be very... This is my opinion. I'm paying money for these boxes. So I have a right to feel a certain way, at times with these, because I am paying for it. I'm not generally sponsored. I've had 1 box sent to me for the purpose of review. Other than that, I pay for these 100% out of pocket. So this is my money going into these reviews. And I don't like when I spend my money on something that's not worth it, even if I'm reviewing it to help other people not spend their money on something that isn't worth it. That is why we do 3 months of reviews, not just like one and done, or just an unboxing and we walk away. That's why this is a true review, where we literally sit down, discuss the finer details, and experience the box as a whole for 3 months. And I figure that gives you, you could have a bad month, and you don't want to judge something harshly because there's a bad month. 3 bad months, though, that's a trend. There's also, and I try to be fair with a lot of things when it comes to preference. Like, Mary Maxim to me was an okay deal financially, as long as you didn't want to get attached to anything. And as long as you were very creative with what your projects could be out of something. It wasn't my cup of tea, but I can see that there is a client for that specifically. And my biggest beef really was, I think they're selling themselves short, because they have some amazing lines in their house lines and lines that they carry. And most of what was in the box wasn't that stuff. So I just felt like more or less they were selling themselves short on what that box should have been. This box is a whole different story. So, like I said, and if you're new to my channel, I know this is one of those kinds of videos that will probably get a lot of new viewers here. I don't pre-film things generally. Like, I will refilm something if I just flub it up so bad that I can't put that out there in the ethos. But this is real life. We may have a cat jump in here. I may do the last half of the video holding a cat, which has happened in the past. But this video is not going to be indicative of what these reviews are like. Please keep that in mind. So we started off bad with this box. I mentioned in a show and tell video that I did 4 weeks ago now. The first box got here way earlier than expected. I like placed the order on like the 5th of the month thinking I wouldn't get it till the next month's box went out, and I got a box immediately. Box 2 took 8 weeks to get to me. And in box 2, they said, we're no longer going to do this club. We're no longer going to do a separate crochet club and knitting club. We're going to smush these together, and everything's now going to be the hook and needle club, which was another club. They had a crochet club, a knitting club, and then the hook and needle club. Now they're smushing all 3 of those into one, which is fine. I understand that, but I was under the impression that the crochet club was getting one kind of project and kit, the knit club was getting kind of one project and kit, and then hook and needle was getting one project and kit. So you may be subscribed to multiple things. Apparently the knit club and the crochet club have always been getting the same thing, just different patterns. And now the hook and needle club is just going to be those 2 clubs put together, because they're just going to send everybody the knit pattern and the crochet pattern. And then in month 2, I ordered the knit box specifically, but I only got the crochet pattern. I had to print out a copy of the knit pattern to even decide what to do. And then I asked, like, what should I do with this? Because now, you know, we're 2 months in. I didn't really mean to review this early. I was just going to hold on to it and keep paying for it. But I think this is a crappy value, and I don't want to pay for 6 months of this to come back and review it in 6 months. And, you know, I now have 6 of these and I hate all of them. And a lot of people said, don't do a review, don't waste the time and money on it. But the truth is a bad review is still a review. So I did want to give the review. I'm not going to put the time into this as far as working the kits and projects that I normally would have. I wasn't going to do a full review series this quarter just because I have a lot going on. My husband had surgery. I'm hosting my Spook Your Spring Make-Along this month. Every May I do a Spook Your Spring Make-Along. So the month of May tends to be a little bit busy for me anyway. And then with my husband convalescing for 4 weeks at home, I knew my time was going to be thin for crafting. So I knew this wasn't going to be a good quarter for this. So I kind of planned on focusing on like my Taming Your Stash series, and, you know, how am I working down my stash, working through my stash, thinking about my stash, things like that. I was going to focus on that this quarter, work on some UFOs and WIPs, and we would come back to do reviews in quarter 3. As I said, I accidentally placed that order early. I wasn't really thinking when I placed the order. And then this all happened. So it's not been a good experience to begin with. And to be fair, I'm going to talk about all 3 of these kind of together, because now we have March, April, and May kits. We'll talk about these all together, and would I ever have bought these or made these anyway? Because that's kind of also, I want to be fair. I want to give you the most things to think about totally. So month 1, which was March, but once again, like I said, I ordered this late enough in the month. I thought I wouldn't get a March box. I should have gotten an April box. So we were already starting off convoluted, but I just popped this in the closet. I was like, oh shoot, you know, that got here. I got something a little early. I'll just wait till next month's box gets here and we'll start the review, since I went ahead and ordered it. And then things went sideways in April with the announcement that this was going to be the knit and crochet all together under a different name. So anyway, the first project was a shawl, which if you're a frequent flyer here, you know I am always diggity down for a good shawl. It's a pretty little pattern. It's a basic little pattern. There's nothing. I mean, it's cute. It is something I would make. I would use a yarn that needs to be shown off for the purpose of this. So what we got was 3 balls of this. And this is either Red Heart Unforgettable or Lion Brand Landscapes, which is also, you can buy loops and thread facets. They're all the same thing. It is a worsted weight, size 4, acrylic, single ply roving. I don't mind working with these yarns. I love these yarns. I have loved these yarns for many, many, many moons. Actually, this one's a DK weight, so this says it's a size 2 apparently. I believe my Landscapes all says 4. So maybe this is a different brand, but I've gotten some semi-confirmation. These are just reballed versions of other. Obviously, I mean, anyway, the closest thing to this is Red Heart Unforgettable that everybody has seen. Walmart used to carry it. Michael's used to carry it in store. Joann's still, some of them still carry it in store. You can get it all over online. It's a fine yarn. I like it. I have no problem with this. I actually think a basic knit shawl is perfect for this. As you can tell in the picture, it shows off the striping pattern to it. You get a nice variegation, the way the yarn blends from color to color in its striping. I think this is a great combo of how to effectively use this yarn. This is a great pattern choice. So like, this combo, I would totally make myself. Like, this is something I would 100% choose to put together. But at $24 plus $5 shipping, so $29, my first thought was that's very expensive for what I got. But I did get 3 balls of the yarn and the pattern, so I like the combo. I love the, I mean, I'm a pink girl. Pink, purple, and aqua are my color palette. Gray is my preferred neutral to pair with things. So that, you know, once again, this is 100% up my alley. I don't have a problem emotionally or peculiarities. I like this style of yarn. It is a pain to work with. Lots of people have issues with it. It is a pain to work with. But if you're patient, it makes nice projects. I do like it. Now we have Banner doing a prowl of the room. Pippin was in here when I started filming. Now Banner's in here working a circuit. Come here. Oh, he says, but I wanted the window. Say hi. Say hi, Nanner. Banner, Nanner. He's like, no. Yeah, still people how to do your face is. See, Mommy will help you in the window if you're nice. Anyway, this for $29 was very expensive to me because this is a pattern I'd normally get for free. Although I did give it in my final maths a $3 value. There are some paid patterns like this, but this is super basic. This is the kind of thing when you're just noodling with yarn you come up with on your own. That would make these $10 balls each for a big box yarn that I know I can get for significantly cheaper. And we will talk about, because all 3 of these are some version of a big box yarn, what I actually pay for these when I purchase them for myself and what those numbers look like. But anyway, Unforgettable goes for $6.99 times 3. And like I said, I did give this a $3 value for the pattern, because if you were going to buy one, it would be $3. But this is a pattern you would find for free normally. Month 2. And like I said, please forget, if you're used to my normal format, this is not my normal format. You already know this. If you're new to my review series, this is not how I normally review these. Please forgive me, but this is really a down and dirty review. Also, one of the things I think is important with these boxes, especially if you're including a pattern with them, is they should be seasonally appropriate. This is seasonally appropriate. This was March. I wear shawls year round, especially like to church and stuff. I prefer to be modest in my dress when I go to church, so I do tend to put a shawl over my shoulders, but it's also 900 degrees here. So I want to be able to, I don't want something that I can't easily remove when I leave church. So I do prefer wearing shawls year round. I do wear multiple different fiber types year round, sometimes cotton, sometimes wool. It just depends on what mood I'm in and what matches my outfit that day. So month 2 was April. Now April here was mighty hot. I just joked in a video recently where it's either 40 degrees here right now or 80 degrees. There is no in between. And some days it will be 45 when I leave for my walk in the morning, and by lunchtime it's 80 outside. So literally we can span that entire temperature zone in one day. However, I live in the Southeast. I live in North Carolina. It is hot, humid, and muggy where I live. And hats and scarves in April is not normal. So when I got month 2's box, number 1, it's a hat and boot cuff set, which if I gotten this in September or October, I'd have been like, yeah. April? Really? April? I mean, even everything about this has like that fall aesthetic, where fall colors, like, so not seasonally appropriate, which doesn't necessarily make or break a box. Like if I were getting it personally, I would just save it for September and make it in September. That way I'm excited about it and don't feel kind of, but it is a good summer make. Now, if you're making gifts, things like that are a good summer make because they're not, you know, heating your body up, you know, like making a blanket or something. So pro con. With this one, we got 2 balls of yarn. And the best match I can come up with for this is Lion Brand Heartland. And I still don't think that's a really good match because I think Heartland is much softer. But that's the closest I could come up with this. This, because there's no information on our ball band here, I think did claim to be a chunky. This says it's a size 5 bulky / chunky weight, 2 skeins in warm gray. And like I said, I ordered the knit box. I got the crochet pattern. I had to go into my account to get my knit pattern. So that is what that looks like. And I don't print in color for most things unless I have a chart. So there is a big difference if you look at the textures we're getting in the 2 hats. This crochet pattern has a lot more texture, but this has a lot finer, more refined texture to it. Same thing with the boot cuffs. We have a lot more fun, chunky texture here, but this is a little bit more of a refined, professional look. When you're dealing with chunky yarn, that is something that tends to happen in the difference between knitting and crocheting. Now, once again, I was able to get my knit pattern, but I was sent the crochet pattern in a box where they announced that they're going to be smushing these together. And apparently this is what we've been getting the whole time between the 2 boxes. So anyway, when I got this and realized what this was and how I was feeling about it, and it says on the website they're approximately going to be 4 weeks difference in shipping. Well, this didn't ship for 6 weeks and after I got the first box. So they like early sent out the first box. Okay, that's fine. That happens. I've done that. I've had that happen with like a Crate Joy where as soon as you sign up, they send you the box, but you don't actually get a monthly box until, you know, 6 to 8 weeks out, depending on where in the monthly cycle you are. That's fine. I'm understanding. I'm chill. Ain't no big thing. But not only did this take 6 weeks to ship out, it took 2 weeks to get to me. Now that's not all on Annie. But the tracking did say it didn't leave their facility for like 9 out of those 16 days. So it took 6 weeks for them to even put it together. And then it took another 15, 16 days for them to be willing to send it out. and update me, the consumer, with it. And then it got lost in the mail for a few days. So it was a long time between boxes for me. We also got the pom-pom to go on top, and it's the loop style. So you put a little button inside your hat, feed the loop through, or you can put the button on top, depending on how much work you're willing to put into your pom-poms. But I do like the fact it is a detachable pom-pom that people can take off so they can wash their garments. I wasn't feeling this. It was late. They switched the club on me on month 2, or announced that they were switching it on month 2. So I was literally stuck here like, do I do 3 months now of the hook and needle club and just see what that is? And this is a box a number of subscribers had asked me to review. So I really, really, really wanted to give this a fair shake. I really wanted to give this a fair review. Hello again, Banner. What? You don't want to be in the video, but you keep coming in like you want attention. I really wanted to give this a fair review. I wanted people to know what they needed to know whether or not this was something they wanted to review, or not something they wanted to review, something they wanted to receive. But at the same time, my experience was getting worse and worse with this. So assuming this is Heartland yarn, Lion Brand Heartland yarn, that's $6.50 per ball. So that's $12 plus $1, so $13 plus a pom-pom and a pattern. The pom-pom, I know for pom-poms can cost $3 each. Don't get me wrong, I understand, but if you buy a 12-pack, normally you can get them for $1 each. You can get them for $1 each with the buckle, the snaps. You can get them with $1 each with the loop. You can get them for 75 cents each if you're willing to just sew them on as you're stuck with a fur pom-pom. So once again, I paid $24 for this, plus $5 shipping, so $29. I'm paying $30 for $13 in yarn. So I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't happy at this point. And that's why I brought this up to my subscribers as to what we should do. He's normally not this, I want to be held, I promise. No, you're not. Normally you just want attentions and then you want to run away. I figured it'd be easy. I'd just pick him up and it'd be fine. But no, he's decided I need love. His banner being neglected today. You can go sit in your perch. He has turned into a mama's boy. You sit in your perch. Then it's your perch. Mommy needs her hands. Don't be so offended. So anyway, the comments in that show and tell almost unanimously said, don't waste any more money on this. Don't waste any more time. And I really did have to sit and think about it, though, because in replying to a lot of people, they're like, it's not worth reviewing, was the thing. But the truth is that means it's worth reviewing. It's just not going to be a good review. And that is two separate, different problems. I hate giving bad reviews. I really do. It is something I will work so hard to come up with positives to make something a good experience for myself. And this is one of those where I decided to push through. I decided to change the format. I wasn't going to waste the energy in making these projects, but I was going to push through with the review. I was going to buy one more box. We were going to get May's box, and we'll be where we are today. So I got month 3. Sorry, now I have banner fluff all over my face. I have a naturally oily face, so cover just... This is what we got. Now, the pattern is super cute. Once again, these aren't my decor colors, but this does work with my decor. But this is our project. They did send me the knitting version of it this time. Once again, we got another... We're changing our club. We're moving everything over to the Hook and Needle Club notice. I do like this project. So we're back to the project's cute. I do I can appreciate this project. I have some qualms, and most of that is in the yarn. Go figure. This is the kind of project I personally would do with cotton. I don't like working with cotton, but I would use probably cotton and or wool for this, not acrylic, because acrylic goes floppy very easily. I just realized I never took the handles out to really investigate. Okay. This is what we got. Now, to me, this feels like a denser, slightly denser version of Vanna's Choice. So that's what I'm comparing this to. So this is size 4, 100% acrylic yarn. I have nothing against this yarn. This yarn is perfectly fantastic. It does look good in our finished project. They sent me the 2 handles, so it is a kit, not just a here's some yarn, here's a project, go have fun. Once again, we have all the parts and components that would be unusual to expect a person to have. You know, provide your own tapestry needles, provide your own hook, but we'll give you the accessories needed to finish the project. I appreciate that. I do really love kits. I think getting a kit is a very fantastic gift. It's a great way to do something different without having to invest a lot of money, because buying one set of handles can be very expensive, but if you buy, say, 5 or 6 at a time, you can get a much better deal. But if you make a basket and hate it, hate the experience, what are you going to do with the other 4 handles? See, I like kits. I am pro kit. This, however, once again for $30, kind of rubbing me the wrong way, because Vanna's Choice, if I were to buy it in store, is $5. And like I said, this is a slightly denser version of Vanna's Choice. I don't have anything else on my yarn wall in the acrylics that this quite matches. It's soft, very pliable, it's not dense in that it's stiff, which is why I think this is a really bad choice to do a basket with, especially a basket where you want it to stand up on its own. It's dense in that it's tightly plied, and it feels... I would still make a sweater out of this. I think this would make an excellent acrylic sweater just because it is plied thickly enough. There's not a whole lot of air blown between the plies. That's a maybe better way to describe it. But once again, $5 a ball retail. If I had to have a ball to finish this up, $5 retail. Paying $30 for that's really rough. I mean, that's... You know, not including, once again, $3 for the pattern is what I estimated all 3 months for. I can get those handles for $5 a set, 100% leather, and they're thicker than these. These are fairly thin, which for this size basket's actually good. That's not a diss. That's not a negative. But I did estimate $5. The thicker ones I would use on a slightly larger basket. And then, you know, you can get much longer ones as well. But I did estimate those at $5 just because 100% leather ones, which are the ones I've purchased in the past, are about $5 a set when you buy them individually. And if you just want to give something a test, it's okay to spend more for that first one. If you decide you're going to make more, that's when you invest in purchasing larger quantities at a lower price per item. Anyway, on to where our math ended up. The first month we did is Red Heart Unforgettable. Month 2 is Lion Brand Heartland. Month 3 is Lion Brand Vanna Choice. We got 8 balls of yarn total. The yarn estimated retail, if I were to pay 100% retail for these on average on the internet, $48.97. The patterns I'm giving $3 each, so that's $9 amongst all 3 kits. The leather handles are $5 retail-ish, And once again, I know the fur pom-poms, you can pay $3 for them. I've never paid $3 for them, but I went ahead. I'm doing this as the high version of this math, trying to make this as close as possible. So $3 for a faux fur pom-pom, which gives our total high retail value. And I know this is high because, once again, retail, I know there are cheaper places to get these things. That gives us $65.97. I spent $69.97 before shipping. So we overpaid $6 or 6% before shipping. And then shipping was $5 a month. So that's another $15 on top of that. Total, I paid $85.96 for this. I overpaid $20 because I could have bought all this in store here. I have a Michael's here. I have a Joann's here. I have a Walmart here. I could have gone on Amazon and gotten all this stuff for cheaper. And gotten it same day delivery in some cases, according to my brief Google search, looking to see what the retail prices were across all of the main places. And I even looked at Mary Maxim's prices. I'm just saying, the highest I could make the value for all of these. And that's, I'm not using like some like outliers, $10 a ball for a discontinued color or something. Just some places charge $7.99 for something. Some charge $6.99 for something. Different companies charge different prices. Even if I were to say order from Mary Maxim, which doesn't offer free shipping very often. They do offer it, but it's not like a constant, like $45 in free shipping always. Even Mary Maxim would have been cheaper for me if I were paying shipping, and would have been cheaper by like 12% than what I ended up paying for this. So yeah, the math just doesn't math on this. There is financially no benefit to getting this. One of my criteria, especially when we're using big box yarns like this, or yarns that aren't, the indie dyed or indie spun or indie anything, is 25%. Even if you're having something custom milled, because you're doing it at such a large batch, like Knit Crate, I expected 25% off of what I would expect to pay retail for these yarns. I overpaid 6% from me pushing the retail value as hard as I possibly could. So I decided, looking at that, what do I normally pay for these yarns? Because all three of these are things I actually have purchased. I have actually used in the past. What I normally pay for these things, and I'm cheap. If you are new to my channel and are not familiar with the big yarn wall, a number of people freak out and think, oh my God, she spent like tens of thousands of dollars on all this yarn. You see this, and oh my God, that's thousands of dollars a yarn. I generally, for big box yarn, pay 40% or less for my big box yarn purchases. That's one of the reasons why I have so much, is when I find those sales, I tend to buy everything I think I'm going to use. I don't pay retail unless I have to have something to finish a project, or somebody has commissioned something and I'm going to go make a purchase for them. I don't pay retail for things, especially these big box yarns. And big box yarns, 40%. Like, I wait until things are 60% off before I start purchasing. When we hit the 70% off zone is when I will buy a crate of yarn. But all of my big box yarns have been purchased like that. These, at the time I bought these, they were $3.99 each at Joann's, and Joann's would have, on their calendars, you could purchase a calendar at the beginning of the year, and every month had a different coupon or set of coupons. I was able to purchase these for 50 cents a cake in store at my Joann's in Columbia, South Carolina, which is when these came out, where I got most of these. Then I did purchase a couple extra ones when we went to the last Premier warehouse sale. where I met Jennifer from Cinnamon Stitches in person. It's great. But, even then, I paid 40%. I'm cheap. But I know what I pay for things. So Unforgettable, generally, if I'm casually purchasing, like, oh, that I really like that color, I would make a shawl out of that, 3 balls. I normally would pay about $3.99 for that. $3.99 a ball. So it's not a huge amount off, but like the right color, ooh, that'd be a pretty shawl. Generally, I'll pay about $3.99 for that. Vanna's Choice, I use a lot of. Up until Premier Anti-Pilling became as versatile as it is, and they had as many colors and shapes and sizes, Vanna's Choice was actually my go-to acrylic for many, many years. I still love it, still use it a lot. I generally pay $2.99 a skein for that. I know that's probably going to be going up. The clearance on that's not going to be as sharp, but many companies will clearance out yarns like that at the end of a season just to rotate stock, so things aren't sitting in their store. Even if they're going to bring that same exact color back, maybe the dye lot's changing. Maybe there's going to be a slight alteration. But even on Lion Brand's website, is they're making those changes. You can get a case of Vanna's Choice yarn in a single color for as little as $1 a skein. That's looking for a very special sale. There are 10 for 10 sales and things like that. Vanna's Choice frequently is amongst those. But $2.99 on sale, on clearance, being moved out, being made room for something, like, that's what I would generally start maybe purchasing some extra skeins. I'm not going to bulk buy it I bulk buy it at $1, but frequently if I am looking for something just to spice up my stash, $2.99. Heartland, $4, same thing. I don't use that one as much. The Heartland I paid like $1.50 a skein for. But it's a perfectly fine yarn. It does work up very nicely. You can make some beautiful things with it. I've gotten it in subscription boxes before that I paid less than this for. $4 is about what I pay for that, though. That it doesn't go on sale as often, and it doesn't go on sale as steeply as the other two. So $4 is generally what I personally end up paying for that. If it's like, oh, I like that color, let me grab enough for a project. So if I'm buying it with a project in mind, not stash building in mind, $4. So total, what I would generally pay for these yarns, we're looking at $28.94, which is around the 50%, 40 to 50% off zone. So this is, once again, me casually purchasing for a project, not stashing up, which, like I said, 60% off. We're looking at that 30 to 40% off zone where it's on sale in store. Not even BOGO, just on sale in store. That's what I generally pay for these things. The patterns I left at $9. The leather handles I left at $5. I find it offensive people would actually pay $3 for a fur pom-pom. I know they do. I find it offensive. I pay $1. And $1 is being very generous. Once again, the Premier Warehouse sale, I got the 4-pack of the smaller ones for about 15 cents a pom. I got some, my godson and his sister's school were doing a little fundraiser thing, and they happen to have fur pom-poms in there. And those are some nice fur faux pom-poms. And I paid 75 cents a pom for those. I have some jumbo fur poms. I mean, like the kind that you put on your hat just so it looks ridiculous because it's so funny. Nobody has a fur pom that big. In the natural tones, which tend to cost more than the fashion colors. Once again, I paid $1 for all mine. They do go on sale, and they are on clearance constantly at the end of winter. I have never paid more than $1 for a faux pom like that. So, all that to say, what I would normally pay for these items. Not, I'm looking for something special. Just, I'm casually shopping for a project. I would pay $43.94 for all the supplies I received here, which is 37% cheaper than what I actually paid for this box, not including the $15 shipping. I would have paid these prices online and gotten free shipping. I would have paid these prices in store and obviously no shipping. 37% off just the non-shipping price. Then you add in, I paid another $15 for these things in shipping. In the US, a US company to a US household, only halfway across the country, not like coast to coast, $5 shipping. I could have put these in one of those $4 bags and gotten off cheaper, which I will say, I wish I had saved one of the bags back. Their shipping bags are adorable. They're a dark blue with a little folk art flower design. They are adorable. But anyway, I could have put those in USPS mailers for cheaper and still kept the poofy mailer. When I ran that math, I was just shocked. Like, if you made it this far, I know this is a very long review video for me. I don't normally spend this much time on it, but we are doing all 3 months at once. And I had a lot of things to say, and I wanted to make sure I said them all in a way that didn't come off as me being It's rough. I'm going to be honest. And I know the comments, many people had said, you know, my sister got this for me. My daughter got this for me. I hated it. It wasn't worth the money. The projects were fine, but it's way overpriced. I even had one of my personal friends reach out and go, girl, let me tell you what happened. So she was getting the Crochet Club, and apparently one month they got a single skein valued at about $8. I mean, I felt like I was getting ripped off, getting $15 and what would be $15 retail price at the store for $30. I couldn't imagine how mad I'd be. One $8 skein of yarn for $30. So, in conclusion, if you are looking for a subscription box for yourself where you're getting kind of a nice combination of things, this is not it if you're at all interested in getting a good value for your dollar. Now, to be fair, the projects are kind of cute. I do genuinely like all three projects. The projects are perfectly fine projects. Now that you're getting both the crochet and the knitting patterns, that actually is kind of nice. Because if you don't like one version of it, like, oh, I don't really want to do knit cables, let me do crochet cables instead. Or I really don't want to pull my crochet hook through such a tight thing to get something to stand. Because, so let's see what size needle this does call for. This calls to use a size 10. That is going to be a very, very floppy basket with this acrylic yarn. I'm sorry. With the chunky yarn, would probably drop down to what is the equivalent of maybe an H with this yarn. Or no, this is worse weight. This isn't the chunky. Oh, I might drop down to like a G or an H. Yeah, to make sure that this is tight. So, oh, a 10 millimeter. Yeah. See, if you get both patterns, then at least you can make those choices if you both knit and crochet. Guys, the projects are cute. The yarn's perfectly fine yarn. I have no problem with that. But the cost of this just sucks. And so I will say canceling this was super duper easy. We'll see, make sure that my cancellation did hold. But canceling this was super duper easy. I had no problem actually canceling this. So, on paper, they sent me a confirmation, said it's canceled. Now, if next month I get a box, I'm going to be angry. But on paper, this has been canceled. It's there on the website. You click a button. They say, are you sure? And you're done. There's none of this. Take our survey. If you do this, we'll give you 50% off your next box. They've done nothing to entice me to come back since I canceled this about 9 days ago, I think. I like Annie's. And once again, I want to make this very, very clear. This isn't I hate Annie's. Annie's makes good project kits, like if you want to buy like a blanket kit, you can purchase those for a much better value than these. And because these are a risk, like I say in all these videos, I expect to get 25% off, not overpay by 6%. 6% plus $15 shipping. That's a lot. I mean, that, you know, and I've had boxes where we pay $5 a month shipping. When I start calculating that in, if I calculate it into like the overall savings, we still generally save 20%, not overpay 6% on the base box plus shipping. Like that ends up putting us at like, I didn't do the math, so I don't have it written out. But that would put us closer to, we overpaid by like 16%. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of difference there. And then when you look into what, like if you went to the store in the US and purchased these items, now I know Canadian prices are very, very different than the US pricing, and the sales are very, very different. But then y'all are paying more for the box. Like, it's just not a good deal. But Annie's does have good deals on the stuff that you just buy from them. It's just, these kits are not worth it. This is not where it's at. And this, like, I know there's a term for this where you have another company make you a thing and you put your labels on it. And now that name is escaping me. People get mad because they think this company is doing that. Like ColourPop and Kylie are doing the same thing. Like, now I can't remember the name of what that is. Anyway, I don't even think they're doing that. I think they're just taking off the store labels and putting their own labels on these. But like stuff like this, where I'm now stuck with this and I've got to come up with some way to label these as to what they are. And I can't even, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I do like the yarns. I hate to leave it on a bad note, but I, as my subscribers and viewers of this video, I hate to leave you with a sour note in your mouth on this, but it sucks. It's not worth the money. The projects are cute. The yarn is fine. Especially if you don't, can't use wool. I mean, this is a great box, but that's kind of rough. I'm not going to lie. That's kind of rough. Like, just, I know most of us are on a budget, but yeah. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic day. Once again, if you are new to my review series, I am very sorry that your first introduction here is like a 50-minute video of me just like slamming all this information in together, but it really was kind of the best way for me to communicate all of this stuff to you at once and not waste any of my time and energy and effort, or your time, energy, and effort. I wanted to make this kind of a concise moment with you guys. Now, I do have the next box ordered. I am very, very excited. We are moving away from this type of subscription box back to something similar to what we've been doing with the independent dyer. So I cannot wait to share with you guys what that is. I cannot wait to have the first box in my hot little happy hands. I am very excited. There have been a number of people who have once again asked for this box. This is something that I once again will be paying 100% out of pocket for, but I think this is going to be well worth our money and well worth the excitement. So come back in the next month and see what we get from that. Also, I will have the unboxing of my ALC and Yarnables coming up, and I cannot wait to see what this month holds. I did make a purchase from Yarnable, and we will discuss that probably in the unboxing video for Yarnable and ALC, which should be sometime next week from when this is coming out. But there are some good things on the horizon that we can put this experience behind us now and move forward. So definitely come back if you're interested in seeing some reviews. Please go check out the playlist. There is a playlist of subscription box reviews. So if you're new here, please go check those out. You'll get a better feel for what my format is and how I normally would handle something like this and why this was such a different video for me. Other than that, you guys, I love you. Please take care, and I will see you guys real soon. Bye, guys.